Hi, everybody. My name is Ashley. I am Consult with Ashley on all platforms, Instagram, YouTube. And today we are going over the 12 Rules of Life, the Antidote to Chaos by Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peterson is a Canadian YouTube personality. He's also a clinically he's also a clinical psychologist and professional of psychology at the University of Toronto. He grew up in the wastelands of North Alberta, and he also earned a PhD and a postdoctorate in the clinical psychology from the McGill University before working as a professor at the University of Harvard. So with that being said, he created this book about 12 rules of life that have helped him through dealing with chaos in life. And with going through this book, we're going to go through different chapters. This series right now of this part, we're going to go over 1 through 3. And rule number 1, we're just going to dive right in. And then at the end of this, I do stop the recording, and anybody that's left on our Zoom meeting, we go ahead and discuss any of the rules, or we discuss the pages that we read. We do these book clubs at meetings Wednesday where we read along, and on Sundays where we go over the book club chapters. So if you guys want to join in, please message me. It's open to anybody, and we would love to have you, especially if you're working on your mindset. Then you definitely need to be here because we're all working on our mindset in some type of way. So starting off with rule number 1, it is stand up straight with your shoulders back. This one was basically, I took it as standing up for yourself. So I'm going to go over the notes that I took. There were 2 quotes that also really stuck out to me as well. So I wanted to share that with you guys too. So I want to start off with the quote. So attend carefully to your posture. Quit drooping and hunching around. Speak your mind. Put your desires forward as if you have a right to them. At the least, the same right as others. Walk tall and gaze forthrightfully ahead. Dare to be dangerous. Encourage the serotonin to flow plentifully through the neural pathways. Desperate for the calming influence by Jordan Peterson. I also had a good one that he had, which was to stand up straight with your shoulders back is to accept the terrible responsibility of life. With eyes wide open, it means deciding to voluntarily transform the chaos of potential into the realities of habitable order. It means adopting the burden of self-conscious vulnerability and accepting the end of the unconscious paradise of childhood. While finitude and morality are the only dimly comprehended, it means willingly undertaking the sacrifice necessary to generate a productive and meaningful reality. It means acting to please God in the ancient language. Woo! Right? So the denial of a profound truth can lead to suffering. Denying your responsibility to deal with suffering can lead to the hopelessness victim mentality. This mentality is increasingly common and relies on the expectation that others will resolve your problems. Adopting this approach prevents you from finding meaning. Some of the strongest people have overcome massive amounts of pain, suffering, and adversity. Taking ownership of their suffering allowed them to find meaning in their suffering. On top of mentality, though our body posture is crucial, to learn to stand up for yourself, Peterson uses the metaphor of embracing your inner lobster. He then went on to describe how lobsters are very much so like our membranes, right? So let me explain this to you guys. The lobster shares many of the same neurological structures as humans. Like human brains, lobster brains have areas specialized for social hierarchies. Peterson explains that studies suggest lobsters who lose their social status through losing fights stop producing serotonin. This lack of serotonin can lead to depression in the lobsters. The dominant lobsters also adopt a strong posture while the other lobsters curled up. The body and mind are deeply connected, so set yourself up for success by exerting the proper body language. Stand up straight with your shoulders back for 2 powerful reasons. 1, it exerts dominance and confidence. 2, it always allows you to accept responsibilities. Okay, so I hit hard with this one, and I'm so glad that I was able to start it off with this one. I want to talk about like generational non-confidence, right? I look at my great grandma, and she was so tiny, but really she was so tall. She was tiny because she had a hunch on her back. And like, I remember growing up and my mom would always correct my posture saying, stand up because you don't, or sit up straight. You don't want to have a hunch on your back like grandma. You don't want to have a hunch on your back like grandma. Or great, it was her grandma, right? And so my grandma, my mom's mom, has a little bit of a hunch. My mom barely has one. And I would say I don't have one, right? So to say like we're breaking down, really, it's not something that's just going to be like confidence is going to be instilled with you overnight. It is something that is really worked on, and it takes a lot of time. And it can take, I mean, crazy as it is, maybe you won't be able to find confidence right now, but if you're searching for it and you're looking for it, you're going to be able to pass that down. So I just want you to understand that, and I hope that that resonates with somebody else, because it really, like, this whole thing, I was like, whoa, is it been like generations of non-confidence, and that's what was instilled in me in such a small age. So real quick, research has shown that the physical stature, even a small muscle movement, can affect your emotions. It's tough to accept responsibility for your actions when you're slouching or sprawled out on the floor. By being upright with your shoulders back and your feet shoulder width apart, you exude confidence as a willingness to take a meaningful action. So, I mean, I loved that first one. I was like, okay, stand up straight with your back and your shoulders up, postures, everything. And you know what is so true? Like, when I walk through the store and I kind of like look at people in the eye, before I would look down, and I'm going to be honest, I felt like maybe they were always kind of like, I was a pushover then, but now it's like, no, walk with your shoulders up high, say what you need to say, and stand up for yourself. Like, you could say that respectfully, right? But still stand up for yourself. If something is eating you up and it's hurting you, stand up for yourself. Because at the end of the day, our brains are wired in a way that, like, we have this hierarchy that we truly like have embedded in our heads, and we can break that by putting ourselves at that hierarchy, and everything else is like, we can restructure how we believe in that, right? Okay, so rule number 2, which I loved this one, because who has a hard time taking their medication? Who has a hard time sticking to something like a diet, or maybe exercising, or reading a book, things that are like really good for yourself, right? This one is for you. So rule number 2 is treat yourself like someone you are responsible for helping. What? Okay, Peterson encourages people to credit themselves and those around them for acting productively and with care. He also credits patients for showing genuine concern and thoughtfulness toward others. They can express their emotions because they are simply being themselves. When you are a patient, you simply accept that you are a patient. You don't try to be someone else. The lesson to learn from the patient approach is to respect yourself and know that you are worthy of help. You are important to other people as much as you are to yourself. You have a vital role to play in the unfolding destiny of the world. As a result, you are morally obligated to take care of yourself. You should take care of, help, and be charitable to yourself. Means give yourself grace. Act toward yourself in a way, in the same way that you would if you were taking care of someone, if you were helping someone, if that was your duty to help someone, right? That you loved and valued, what would that look like? You should be that way for yourself. As a part of caring for yourself, you must determine whether you will bargain for yourself so that you can end up so that you don't end up being resentful or vengeful or cruel to the people that are around you, because you're taking your responsibility in your hand. You have to articulate your own your own principles, and for 2 reasons. 1, so that you can defend yourself against others taking advantage of you, and so that 2, you can secure and save be in a secure and safe place while you work and play. When you look after yourself, you are able to build meaning into your life. Don't underestimate the power of your vision and direction. These are irresistible forces. They can transform obstacles into open pathways and expand opportunities. And one of the quotes that I took from that one was this one: strengthen the individual, start with yourself. Take care of yourself, define who you are, define your personality, choose your destination, and articulate your being. As the greatest 19th century German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche so brilliantly noted, he whose life has why can bear almost any how. Let me say that again. He whose life has a why can bear almost any how. If your why and your reason is so strong of why you take care of yourself, why you do these things, like for me, honestly, guys, my reason for why I take care of myself is my kids. Like, who's going to take care of them if I'm not around? Who's going to show them all the things that I wanted to show them if I'm not around? And what does that look like? That means I have to take care of myself. I have to pour into myself. And like they say, an empty cup, if you're pouring from an empty cup, you can't pour anything. So you have to pour into yourself in order to pour into anybody else. The next rule is rule number 3. And this one is make friends with people who want the best for you. Your friends have a significant impact on the way you behave. This is like huge on when I'm saying like surround yourself with the people, or who you surround yourself, and is it going to be the people that are going to bring you up or they're going to bring you down. Their saying and mannerisms will rub off on you. This means they can also negatively influence you through toxic habits. But if you surround yourself with people who support your upward aim, they will not tolerate your cynicism and your destructiveness in yourself. Instead, they will encourage you when you do good for yourself and others, and carefully punish you when you don't. This encouragement will help bolster your resolve. People who are not aiming upward will do the opposite. Peterson explains that managers often put underachievers on group projects with high achievers. Their goal is to raise the underachievers up to the level of their colleagues, but research suggests that the opposite effect is more common. The high performers are likely to be dragged down to the underachievers' level. So strive to surround yourself with good people. Look beyond superficial features like sense of style or their status of where they're at, and identify with who will help you create a positive change. It requires strength and courage to stand next to brilliant people like this, because you might feel inferior. Have some humility and courage so that you can grow as an individual. This one was huge, right? Because like beforehand, I would have been like, I'm not going around these people. I'm going to look dumb. But I would rather now look dumb than look like I'm not changing or look like I'm not trying to grow. That's period. So I took that from those 3 rules. The next rules that we're going to go over, I will be talking about that on Wednesday after we go over our read along. If you guys want to tune in with that, please let me know. I'll go ahead and get you the Telegram, and you will get plugged into a free Audible. You'll get plugged into the free PDF as well as the community itself. So if you guys have any questions, please message me on Instagram or on YouTube at the Consult with Ashley, and I will see you guys next time.